don't wanna.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
You're just an old meme. You can't tell me what to do. Okay, please stop. I'll review it. Just stop that. Guess I'm brought back into the game, aren't I? Welp, on with the review. Kung Fu Panda. This movie was produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Paramount Pictures. When I was younger, this movie was the bomb. In a good way. I loved this movie. This movie was one of the most amazing movies I've seen at the time. I was so in love with it, I asked my parents to buy tickets for the sequel when it came out. That was a mistake. Granted, I was 8 at the time, and although there are better things I've seen nowadays, it's still really high up there in my top favorite movies. And I still enjoy it whenever I watch on TV. But oh no, I had to be dumb when I was younger, and so when I heard they made a Kung Fu Panda video game, my first thought was, oh, a video game based off a movie? Why, that can't go wrong. I instantly bought it, and that turned out to be a mistake. I actually did play through a good chunk of it, but I stopped about halfway because the game was too tough, even on easy mode. Well, I'm a big kid now, I wear big boy pants, and I think I can beat this game. With that said, let's play Kung Fu Panda. Made by, sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, Xpex, Lucoflux, and Activision, we are dropped off to a title screen that has some really loud music. Anyways, I'll go on to the hardest difficulty. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? So we start with an intro which is narrated by Poe, or Jack Black. He tells us that we must start off in his dream, so we go into the first level, his dream. I mean, what did you expect? We start off and the game controls pretty okay. We have a health and a special meter at the left-hand corner. And despite being a tad bit sluggish, the game seems to respond pretty nicely. My only complaint is some camera glitches, but other than that, it's a pretty good start. Now we run into our first enemies, boars. We have running attacks, strong attacks, fast attacks, and wombo combos. Anyways, the game kinda throws you in there with no real controls. But in our first battle, we see something that made this game much harder to play. Motion controls. We'll address that more as it appears, but for now, it doesn't appear to do anything major, except for making it easier for us to lose our health. We better heal up. So we heal up with dumplings, and the eating sound effect is so loud! Why is everything in this game so loud? Why? There is balancing on a rope, which is tedious, but it's also rare. And here are even more motion controls. Yep, this game has QuickTime events. Hooray! You'll have to shake your Wii remote in a direction instead of just pressing a button, which makes it a lot harder. So I picked up a green coin, which I guess is a collectible for other content. Pick it up whenever you see it. So we fight our first boss, and he does a lot of damage and... Wait. Did I just shield and roll? Wait. Rolling, shielding, strong attacks, fast attacks, and double jumps? Is this Smash Brothers? Am I playing Smash Brothers? So after we defeat the boss, a huge Tai Lung comes out, and we see that it's all a dream. Even though we knew it was already a dream.
What a twist!
We go to an upgrade screen, where we can upgrade our stats with coins. Not the green ones that we found when playing. So we go to another screen, which, like the movie, has Po going up the stairs and trying to get into the stadium to see the Furious Five, when suddenly the door closes. Now Po must find a way to get into the stadium. So there's more platforming and the crossbow thing, and then you end the level. Now we start Po's first day, where we learn about the moves that we wished we would have learned in the first couple of levels. There are some annoying time trials, but other than that, not much happens with training. After that, you find out that Tai Lung has escaped, and that everyone will be out while you must watch the palace. Some boars come to steal the artifacts, and you must stop them. You fight the same boss from the beginning, and now you and Crane are sent on a mission to stop the Croc Game from doing evil stuff in the Lotus Lake. What stuff? Heck if I know. You're instructed to get the baby eggs that went missing that are so hard to find that the first one's in plain sight. What? Turtles and cranes are blind nowadays? Now we see another problem this game has. Checkpoints. You see, this game has an autosave feature where whenever you collect an egg or complete area, you get saved. Doesn't sound that bad, right? Wrong. The only problem is, if you save an egg far away, and you've been to every other area in the game, that means you have to perfectly platform all the way back to the area you were, and perfectly do whatever, in this case balance, which I'm bad at, until you get to the next checkpoint. It's so frustrating! So now, I perfectly have to go through this messy platforming, and I have to do this balancing minigame perfectly. And trust me, balancing with motion controls is a lot harder than it looks. And if you die anywhere, you have to go all the way back to that last checkpoint with this lady singing.
Very good, Eggman.
It took me way longer than you're supposed to get to the next checkpoint. And that is bad. And trust me, this isn't the only time you'll encounter this. Anyways, once you're done, you go through a flying boss minigame and, while a bit tough at times, it's pretty repetitious, so you should have no problem. You then go with Shifu to train. You have a bomb mechanic that you'll never use again, and a collectathon. My only complaint is why do the coins you have to collect look exactly like the bonus coins? See? But I digress. You have another frustrating boss fight because you have this fat guy on your back, and if you don't take out the spawners that spawn the littler fat guys, they'll just bombard you. After that, Po and Shifu split up, and you get to a part where the Furious Five, oh wait, before I go on, spoilers, lose to Tai Lung. You get another motion control section, which is a lot harder than the one at the beginning of the game. There's also an annoying buzzer that plays whenever you fail. Once you succeed, you then play as Shifu trying to rescue the Furious Five, and you get introduced to two new enemies, wolves and disappearing wolves. You then have to defeat this white ape, but wait, what's happening? Yeah, apparently if you juggle this guy on a bridge, he starts to freak out because he's too big to land on the bridge. You can't fall off, since there's an invisible wall, and the only way that you can get past him is to kill yourself and restart the fight. Other than a cloud jumping section, nothing really happens that's different to the other levels. Once you rescue all the Furious Five, you move on to the next stage. You then have a stealth stage with an easy boss and a stage based off the bad rolling mechanic, where you meet Tai Lung and learn the whooshy finger hold. Then you go on to fight Tai Lung. Yeah, although the missions are long and sometimes tedious, as long as you know what you're doing, it's a pretty quick game. This fight consists of 3 stages. The first stage, you have to defeat a group of enemies that are trying to break a vase. You don't have a lot of health, and you have little recovery items, so it's a lot harder to do than it looks. After that, you have to avoid these unavoidable pebbles that lead to bad motion control segments. Rinse and repeat until you have yourself boring padding that just extends the game. Then we go to Po trying to get to the Jade Palace, and a rushed moral about being yourself. It was done better in the movie because the dragon scroll was all hyped up the entire movie. But you only hear about it once in the entire game, and you barely hear about it in the opening too. These levels are here only to extend the game. You have easy boss fights, platforming, and other annoying things just to stall the game. It's like the game knows it has to end, but doesn't want to. Now you're playing as Poe and Monkey to get back to the Jade Palace. Something that I don't think I have mentioned is the stick. Even though it breaks, the stick does the most damage in the game. Look at that health go down. I love this stick. I really hope nobody takes that out of context. Anyways, now it's time for the final challenge, facing Tai Lung. And what a challenge he is. It isn't even fair, I tell you. First off, you have to do a quarter damage to Tai Lung. That would be fine if you could just be able to do damage. You do little damage to his massive health bar, and he can easily combo you to do a lot of damage. And this is the easy part. You then have to fight him on a roof. There's no space, no way of doing any damage, and no way to even block some of his attacks. There are healing items, but those get used up quickly as you try to defeat him. The cheapest thing, though, has to be that he regenerates health. He jumps to the other side of the house, and you have to hit him before he regenerates health. Most of the time, you either miss him due to no way to lock onto him, or you can't even get to him in time due to you being so slow. If you get lucky and are able to get him to half health, you then go through a Wii Motion QuickTime event to continue. Someone steals a scroll, and then you have to fight a horde of the toughest enemies in the game to get it back. It's hard, but extremely easy compared to fighting Tai Lung. After that, we learn that the true power comes from within, yada yada yada, and then we have to fight Tai Lung until he's out of HP. Are you kidding me? This took me hours to do. People think that Dark Souls has the hardest bosses, and they would be right. But the most tedious boss in video games is right here. It's not like you'll even die that many times. It's just so long and tedious. This boss fight takes forever, since you do no damage and he regenerates. There isn't even any music in the Wii version. But the kicker has to be that it tells you have this new powerful counter, but it uses up chi. That means it can be used like 5 times before you're stuck with hand-to-hand combat. You don't even do any damage with it, so the counter is just a troll. If you somehow manage to defeat him, you get a cutscene where it looks like you died, but you didn't. Then you do the whooshy finger hold on him, and he dies, and you win. Hooray! All in all, this boss fight is tough, unforgiving, and definitely not worth your time unless you really want to beat the game. So that's Kung Fu Panda. A pretty good game as far as games based off movies go. It tries to be related to the movie, it tries to be a good game, and it's fun at times. Besides the hard boss, the special moves you'll never use, and the checkpoint system, it's a pretty good game. All in all, I give this game a 5.8 out of 10. If you see it on sale, or collecting dust on a shelf, I would say get it and play it. Not the whole thing, but at least try out a bit of it. Well, that's the end of the show. See you guys next time. Hopefully you won't have to wait as long either.